Hello, beautiful Nina.
Really?
And hello to all the beautiful souls that are joining throughout all space and all time. Um, I'm very excited for this episode because, yeah, this is the first time we're going to talk about art. And we're going to talk about art with a very, very gifted, beautiful artist that I happen to know, or I have the privilege to know. So, Nina, would you tell us a little bit about you for all the beautiful souls that, yeah, don't know you yet or just getting to know you?
Good. Just feeling very excited. Um, yeah, I'm Nina and I'm an artist. It took me a long time to be able to allow myself to say that. And also my way of expressing is mostly through painting, and so I'm going to try to make my sentences very clear and for everyone. But yeah, I'm an artist. This creating and painting and expression has been a way for me to live and to experience this human life. So, and it seems through all of my life, that's the only thing that stepped forward for me, like always came back. And now, so I'm happy to say that, yeah, I'm an artist. So,
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That was a beautiful introduction, and I'm sure that all the beautiful souls that are listening can already tap into your magical art that we can see in the background.
thank you. Thank you.
And yeah, we're gonna dive, of course, a little bit deeper into your art and your creative process and everything. Yeah, but before we do that, I would love to also, yeah, if you feel like sharing, what do you feel like sharing about mm, anchoring into this human experience, like coming into this world? This is what is always interesting for me to, yeah, just witness and get to know.
Um, yeah, the human experience has been a wild ride for sure. Um, I feel like I've been quite aware for quite some time. Like I remember I asked a lot of questions. So what am I doing here? Why am I born here? Why do I experience this certain family and not something else? So the questions seem to be I have always been there,
Mhm.
which made me discover a lot and also do a lot of research within my own being, within my physical experience. And art has been a very good way to like experience life and then come back to my, you could say, art studio, but it's like your personal temple space where you meditate, for example. And then I could how I deal with everything, or like there's a word for that, but like understand everything that happened and then go to a new experience. So I see myself doing that, like as from a little child on, like having had a lot of space to create and being supported in that also, because my parents had a flower art shop, decoration shop. So I always had a lot of things to create, to, yeah, being surrounded by plants and flowers and a lot of imprint, like beautiful, magical, glittery, yeah, imprints for my inner child, my being. So although having had a lot of painful experiences of growth, I always had a way to make it beautiful in a way. So yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I feel like all of these magical influences that you had in your childhood,
Mm,
um, I don't know, they are still flowing in, I feel.
mm.
So, I don't know, just magical spaces to dive into when I look into your beautiful art and everything that you create.
Thank you.
And I love what you shared about, yeah, calling yourself an artist now, because I was at that stage too, where I was like not allowing myself. And there's this point when, I don't know, maybe there's a little bit more you feel like sharing about like coming to this conclusion and, I don't know, having, I don't want to say having the courage to do that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's funny because it's actually because of the podcast. Like, okay, I have to introduce myself. So, yeah, I am an artist. There's nothing else to say because even though I'm doing a lot of different other things, it always comes to art and painting. And I've been, um, I mean, it all also depends on how do you see that? Like, how do you perceive paint or the way of expressing yourself, be it video or dance, or
Mm.
it's just it's just like expression or creating or trying to show something to the world, a way of catching worlds that we, in our very materialized experience, we learn or we grow up in. It's we're not able to show that the space between the spaces are like all of our visions and dreams, and they are also like suppressed a lot, or it's not so easy for everyone to do that.
Mm.
And I think I've walked through a lot of different spiritual communities as well, and say very very structured, like Buddhist and Taoist, and having released also art because it was seen as something that is maybe a little bit lower. I don't know, just different way of using those tools also we have as human beings. And so I had to rediscover a lot, like what is truly making me happy, and feeling my soul purpose, my soul blueprint, and where does source come in, or like creation come in. And for me, it's definitely painting, creating. I love the MSI also because it's also like this magical realm, discovery, and it just fits very well together. So yeah, I think that, yeah, an artist of life. Yeah.
I love
It's
what you
just
said.
nice that I can actually paint and have learned myself to have this tool, like this, yeah, just be very good in something, and then also discovering I am a creator, so I can very easily connect those together. So yeah.
I love that so much. And I love what you shared about the spaces between the spaces and catching some of these sparkles and, yeah, bringing it into this world. That's so beautiful. And you just like brought in something very interesting with like bringing in the spiritual exploration of life. And we as humans, like we have these, I don't know, we separate sometimes. This is spirituality, this is art, this is music, and we have all of these categories and, I don't know, expressions for different things. And yeah, at the beginning, I wanted to call this episode like art and spirituality, like as two things, you know? But then I don't know, I was thinking about it or feeling into it, and I was like, well, isn't everything that is spiritual, which is everything, everything, art. And I would so love to know what you feel about this and how you feel about it.
Yeah, I think you just like I push the button is not the I don't know like yeah if I immediately get this vision of Sophia or like Source creating everything. So I think yeah you're absolutely for me you're absolutely right with that, and it's it's just this beautiful gift we have as human beings to be able to I would say connect to that source of creation and start the creation flow. Yeah. And also like allowing ourselves to do that because that is also like can be very a threshold. I do feel like I've been creating from different places, say it be more emotional or be more mental. I'm not a very mental person, but in a sense that I'm just very much drawn to feeling. And so I think that's also why painting is such a good tool for me, especially oil paint, because it's very plastic.
Paint with oil? You paint with oil?
Yeah, I'm making my own oil paint. It's natural earth paint because I want it to be toxic free. And
Oh,
yeah, it always also took me a while to discover what is your tool to create or what suits your being best. But coming back to the question about yeah about if all art is spiritual, and yeah, I guess so.
beautiful. Thank you for confirming. Um, with like, I mean, I know that you have like explored this like spiritual terrain, I call it now. And yeah, but I would love for, I don't know, our listeners to maybe also get a little feeling for your journey also in the spiritual world. And I call it spiritual world now. And
Mm.
how it has influenced kind of the way or changed your art process and the art that you are creating. If you feel like sharing in that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's also a very interesting question. I've been like to reflect on, for myself because being a being that experience has experienced mostly that and focused on mostly that my own self growth and development, because I felt that's a good start actually. I felt very much unattuned or like not in alignment. I didn't know that name back then, but I was very unhappy. I just focused. I was in art school. I studied in many different countries, but I never finished, which also made it interesting for me. Now I realize to see all this different way of teaching and like dealing with what is art, but like how it's structured or the way we have to present ourselves or like what we have to deal with in the art world, like very material art world, not in your studio or just like the performance to the outside, was very, very, very painful for me.
Wow.
So somehow it brought me to self-discovery and on a much deeper level. And that's also where my journey started. So at the beginning, it was very much an expression for me of what I was feeling inside that needed to go outside, and I didn't know how to express. My dad supporting very much to do that, so he gave me a lot of tools to make very big things that were pretty dark because I think I deal with a lot of dark things that back then didn't feel as dark. A lot of art you see in the art world is dark, so not that it's wrong, but just different than what I'm doing now. in a, yeah. And then I started going to art school, but there I became very mental because there was all these little structures, and so it didn't flow through anymore, which was very interesting. I remember my parents also saying, "This is weird. We send you to art school, and everything was like." I started to have a lot of not mental problems, but like I needed to fit in somewhere I didn't want to fit in. So I was lost.
Oh,
Mm. Yeah, and then I went to Italy to study art there. And then I came back and I decided to organize my own art exhibitions because we had a space for that. But also, like with this, yeah, I have to make it and I have to be the best and I have to get into galleries and then at a certain point my body didn't want to move anymore. So I was like shown I was doing something wrong for myself, like self-loving, not self-loving at all. And then somehow I stumbled or I started doing Tibetan yoga to help support my body. And that influence was so intense, intensely big because suddenly all my it's weird to go back there. Suddenly all my senses started to opening and I started to receive a lot of visions and like seeing my own birth and yeah, having connection to all these different non-human things. So my art started to change, definitely change. Like there was this darkness, but there was also still like I was yeah, I was sitting or photographing myself in meditation posture like a yogini, and then all these different video effects. And I'm making these installations that showed people that they were spiritual or like what AI, then we called it just what internet was doing with everyone. So it was a different level of creating. It's okay. I'm just
oh,
saying this. It's a lot. So
amazing. You have their space. Like, I feel that is so important for
Mm,
people to feel, that are artists themselves, or maybe they are just like discovering that they
mm,
are. And different paths lead to different things. So
yeah.
you are, of course, free to share what you feel like sharing about this journey, if you feel like sharing, of
Mhm.
course.
Well, it is very chronicle. Like so,
Yeah.
it's like a whole journey. So then I left for Nepal because I always felt at 25 I would go away or I would discover who I am or whatever.
Wow.
Which was funny because yeah, then I studied Buddhism and I let go of art completely. Or it was in my alignment then to let go of everything.
Wow.
So in order to find myself deep on a deeper level and to see what I was actually creating and how I was hurting myself.
Wow.
So yeah, but being a person, I think that goes very deeply into things. I also lost a part of myself there, so I was very much into Buddhism. Like I didn't do anything else anymore than meditation and prayer, and I painted again, but it was as a meditation, and also I learned how Tibetans painted. So that was also a very interesting part of, okay, so art can also be a meditation in itself.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I just to make a long story short, I ended up in Taoism. And I had a very good teacher. He
Yeah.
was yeah, they were very much focused on what is your purpose.
Oh, wow.
So it's through him also that I discovered that, and also through everything that was happening on a planetary level, of course.
Mhm.
I painted a phoenix, a purple phoenix. I think this sweater, it's like 4 years ago. Yeah, and or 5 years ago. And for me that was like the phoenix rising. So I found my purpose again. So I was painting again, and I felt like, whoa, this is really like my soul is speaking here. This is different than teaching yoga or meditation, or like being stuck in for myself, being stuck in this idea I have to help people through learning to meditate, or I wasn't feeling happy doing that. So I thought I had to help, but I wasn't listening to myself. And yeah, the phoenix brought me, yeah, my soul back in a way. And then started painting dragons, and I received all these visions to like of this magical fairy realm, the fantasy realm, which in the art world is not so accepted as art. You know, it's not modern art, or
Wow.
allez, not. And then I had to let go of the idea that I have to still be part of the art world, until now that I'm just happily, gladly embracing completely that I don't have to walk anyone's path and just paint what I want to paint, and all these things just flowing right now. So yeah, long story.
Oh, I could listen to you like for hours. Um, I feel I feel thank you so much for sharing so honest.
Mm,
Thank you so much. Um, yeah, it's a thing with like being an artist, and I don't know. I feel like it's like losing the self and discovering a new self. And I don't know, I feel your journey is a very beautiful journey with yeah, being confronted with all what art was meant to be in this world, you know? This is
mm,
what art is meant to be. This is what is in the galleries, this is what is in the museums, and this is where like what artists should strive for, you know, or thrive for. This is what you have to do, these are the techniques and everything, you know, you looked into everything, and your soul was like longing for something more or something, I don't know, something deeper. And I love that you listened to that calling
mm.
and followed that. And it's, yeah, it seemed like it brought you, like, I don't want to say back in a new way, but the kind of opened new doors and new ways of
Yeah,
expressing your being, if I might say that.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
Very, very beautiful. And you found a beautiful way to, with you mentioning that the process of making art can be a meditative process, like combining um, spirituality or your soul's expression in a way with the art that you create, with your beautiful, yeah, MSI work and the scrolls that you're creating, right? Would
Mm.
you would you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would love to, yeah.
amazing.
Yes. I think it's a year ago that I received this vision to make this Akashic scrolls, like this vision of like having a gold scroll, um, and like sending people these magical scrolls. So this frequencies are being shared also and materialize, because a lot of these things just stay. I mean, if we integrate them in our bodies and they are integrated, they are here, but it's nice to have a, yeah, like an AI image, but even like painted, like with oils and materials of the earth is like feels like very magical because they are infused with those frequencies. And it's just like the MSI was for me like, so actually what I'm when I started painting the dragons and phoenixes, it's like, oh, there's a whole community and a realm or a community of people who like this, or um, like empower this and are like happy to see this. So I was very blessed to discover that, like, oh, maybe I can really do what I'm here to do, you know, or want to do, or excites me, because I was very much focused on on the other part of
Mm.
like, yeah, trying to fit in and creating for other people, like not in that way, but like trying to please other people, or maybe if I do this, it will be more people will understand. Talking about the community I live here in Belgium,
Mm.
that I opened myself for until now, because maybe that also changes now because I chose for myself and just chose to just create what excites, especially all my inner children. Yeah, and all the other beings involved. So, yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing because your work really feels very multidimensional. I guess like I don't know, people that know the art that it is in museums would also say that this very multidimensional, but yeah, becoming from a different I don't know if it's a different point of view, but just this multidimensional perspective and yeah, just for the people that are like, what is MSI?
yeah.
Um, would you, yeah, share a little bit about the MSI process, or what is let's just spoken out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna express it how I feel it because I feel like it's also something that can be experienced
Mm.
in it on a different levels. But for me, it's like, for example, um, no, maybe, yeah, I'm just talking, I'm feeling dragons a lot. So,
Dragons!
um, for example, the most beautiful example, because my website will also be called Blue Plasma. So, through the multidimensional soul integration process, which is MSI, um, I was beautifully supported to discover a soul part of me that lives or lived in another dimension. So not on this planet, but on Sirius B, which works with plasma. And and then I suddenly like realized, that's why I love to paint with oil, because it has this, it reminds me, it's this structure, like, and like they are alchemists, the beings or the being I integrated is an alchemizing being who alchemize. They can make dolphins. They just create all this magic. And so it felt so natural to me. Like, of course. So a lot of parts of me came home, like, oh, now I understand.
Mm.
So this is what MSI does. It's like you you go and look for, or you invite a soul aspect that you lived somewhere else or are living in a parallel dimension on a different planet, or as a fairy, or like, yeah, as a dragon, or there's, and each specific person has also is connected to different realms. So I'm just talking about my personal experiences and what I what my soul knows or is ready to know. So we kind of prepare our bodies, our physical bodies, our energetic bodies. It's also happening like before you receive a session, and after, and then we integrate that and witness that part. And yeah, it's very magical, and I think it's something very natural also. So everyone has potential to. It can be you already integrating, but you don't know. Like sometimes it's like I painted this fairy, and she was like transmitting some very beautiful messages, and then later I understood that I was integrating her as she was me in it, or is me in a different dimension, time, realm. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for explaining that so beautifully for people to feel into. I felt this was very, very important because I just feel like sharing the experience that I had with you because I had the privilege to, yeah, yeah, I don't know what you call it, like have a session with you or have a
See.
multi-dimensional soul integration session with you and receive like multiple parts of my soul. And it was, yeah, just one of the most beautiful experiences that I had in my life so far. And yeah, if any soul like feels called to reach out to you at this point in time and it's like, oh my goodness, I feel I have to experience that. You can like check out the description box below where I will put all the links so you can have like a most wonderful and magical experience with Nina
Thank you.
and receive a wonderful and beautiful artwork with it that is transmitting the frequency, which is like next level amazing. But we are going to talk about your beautiful new website and yeah, this work with blue plasma in a bit. But just to wrap up this like yeah, the I don't know how to call it, the deep dive into the art process, because you also mentioned with walking us through your way of like discovering art for yourself, you mentioned in the beginning that yeah, your art was dark at some point in time, and which is very very interesting, and it also like brings in questions of like what makes art beautiful, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And because it's always interesting, I feel, and to come to the question that I feel like asking, with the history of humans like making art, and a lot of artists that are, I don't know, in this human realm or were successful artists had like very dramatic stories and
Yeah.
experiences involving a lot of suffering, which is not good or bad, it's just the way it is. But somehow they are like in every museum. And I would love to ask you, yeah, what is your relationship with art and suffering?
Mm.
And did it transform?
Yeah. I love that. It's just for me what that was like why I did it. I think at the first place, my inspiration, I loved Anton Kiefer, for example. He's a German artist who, yeah, works a lot around the war in Germany. And then there's Goya, the Spanish artist. I think I was drawn to this because I'm a Scorpio on many in many planets, so I feel like a lot of dark things in the world. It's not like yeah, I feel very deeply these things and see very deeply these things, and um, I think that's also why I expressed a lot of darkness because I wasn't aware. There wasn't a aware connection with my higher self, so I was just expressing, oh, this has to be go out of my system, or and still like the most magical moments I'm getting emotional from that I remember were like the moments that I felt a lot of pain where I wasn't able to have a clear boundary for myself, or I was not listening to myself, and then I had art as a tool to deal with my grief or deal with my emotions, or like the pain I feel in the world, or the pain I feel in someone who leaves this realm, or when my animal my dog died before. I just painted a huge painting like with a I didn't know he was dying, but I painted a tree with him and me under the tree, and it's like I made this heaven for him to lay under, and like to it's yeah, it's I didn't express this a lot to have this process of dying. And to me, having this human experience, there is not I don't believe a lot in that suffering doesn't exist, or like the only joy. We are here and we experience all kind of emotions. And there is I think, a certain choice we make as a soul, like to experience what you have to go through, and to one people the degree of a suffering may be much worse than another one's suffering. But I think that you are suffering the way you chose to suffer, to also learn and to experience the other part. So for me, there is no gradation in that. So I also believe we are growing as a human species and becoming more aware, and we are trying to work with ourselves, with each other, so that suffering doesn't have to exist in the way that we have lived through it for a very long time. But I think there will always be something that, or as long as we are material, it's like if you give birth, I don't know yet, but I think it hurts, if there is this alignment we can go through, you feel bliss in your body. And I think art helps to align yourself with source, so you receive the light and the bliss you need to, or you can have, and make connection to, so you bring in other frequencies than suffering as well. I don't know if this is clear or just
Yeah, I feel for me it made it made perfect sense.
Mm.
Um, just a beautiful dance, like it is in life. Also dancing with some darker parts and some darkness that is there. And um, this I also feel like asking you, do you still like transmute also heavy feelings through creating art?
not not intentionally, or not like because I have to release something. I think it's more like now I feel like my creation point really comes from, I want to create a new way, a new world, not alone, but just I want to. This all my paintings are now. I only can work on them also when I feel the the movement for it, and it comes from creating this new crystalline world, or like this new frequency. And it might be that while I'm painting, I am like I'm always, it's a meditation, so there will always be parts of me that are moving through things. And I am pretty sure that I'm not sure actually. Maybe they are not involved in the painting, but for me personally, they are still happening. I am going through things, so it would be weird to say no to that.
Mhm.
But the level and the gradation of or like the level of my suffering is just a lot different than 10
Mhm.
years ago. It's just a different frequency. And I think these paintings wouldn't be able to come through me if 10 years ago. So,
Wow,
yeah.
that's very beautiful. And so you are working when you when I'm just expressing that in a way that I feel like you can like express it in the way that resonates with you the most. But when this creative spark hits, and you feel this, like I call this crystalline frequency now, or you like get out your beautiful canvases, and then you start like creating from that frequency. Is that correct?
Yeah, I feel like there's a very, well, there are inner child parts of me that are still looking, or like parts of me that are still looking my place, and how can I do this?
Mhm.
Like, how can I, because now I'm also carrying a baby, so become a mother, be a wife, or like having a relationship, having a family. And this is, I feel also that this is very much supporting me to be able to create these paintings, not from a place of need,
Mm.
but from a place of pure freedom, like pure crystalline. I say crystalline, but it feels like this, we are taking steps into this new frequency. And I just started with them. It's like, I think I want to make a card deck with
Oh
yeah
my
with
goodness! Yes.
yeah, just like a story is like being, is it a story? Are it cards with different messages? And I just open space for letting the paintings, the visions of the paintings, and I'm using my own experience as a human being for the paintings, like feeling the coming of this birth of, yeah, of, if my a crystalline child, or a sacred union, and then yeah, like this blue plasma whales, uh, um, and then I think that in itself, and allowing all of these visions and feelings and
Mm.
emotions and the human experience, being a human experience, all of these different levels, is just so sacred. And I think that in itself is already a new way of making art, or for me, it's a new way of being, or it feels like that. So I think it's very, maybe also very personal.
Very beautiful. Thank you for like giving us a perspective on that and a feeling for yeah. I feel it was always very interesting for me to tap into the art processes of other artists and be inspired by that, you know? And yeah, I hope that some souls are like, oh, maybe I try this painting from a frequency, you know what I mean?
Mm,
Painting from a meditative experience, painting from these, I don't know, just
yeah.
exploring in that way. So thank you so much for sharing in such a beautiful way. And now, like, we have to talk a little bit more about and dive into, yeah, your new website and the work with that you do with blue plasma healing.
Thank you. Um, yeah, I'm just thanking you very deeply
Oh, thank you.
for the space to express also. So
Thank you, thank you.
um, yeah, blue plasma healing is also, it's a web. We are still in the process of creating. So but there's some movement there, and it's actually Ward, my partner, and me coming together because we have a lot of mutual. Yeah, I think as a sacred union, how I experience it, you are together in every realm. So
It's amazing.
yeah, so blue plasma healing was for us like we felt a lot of resonance there with the Series B beings, also our child coming in this realm. And I am still discovering, if I say blue plasma, like for me, when I say that, it's very clear and very much present in the Series B. But I think as being here, it's already present here because I think my body has always carried, yeah, like we all do, carry the codes for that. And I'm not sure about that, but I think that the frequencies of what we experience now on Gaia, on the Earth,
Mm.
are in this level that we are ready also to, our fields are open enough to work with the different frequencies of these different realms. And I think I don't know if you asked it, but it can help our beings, our physical beings especially, to adjust and attune to the new earth, or to the, like, yeah, bringing in the new crystalline earth. So yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's exactly what I felt like asking. The way but you express it in a very beautiful way to like bring the frequency in to assist us attuning also to the new frequency of the earth or bringing it down in a way. And there are a lot of other ways to work with like plasmic energy, right?
Mm.
So, do you feel like, I mean, we felt like in the origin of the frequency, um, but how can we like, if there's anything that comes through around this, like how can we as like individuals work with that? And how are you working with it in a kind of session
Yeah,
setting? You know what I mean? Anything you
it
feel like sharing?
was very interesting because I also believe that we each, as every single person, perceives everything so different. So then you have, the resolution for that is intention. So first of all, you try, or I think you feel in your heart because it's all inside. So the connection, if you feel the connection, if it resonates in your being, you can ask your higher self to prepare your body, and then you will receive the frequencies needed to assist your body. I'm like talking about fairies or whatever guides that are known to your being to assist you or that help you. And then I find it interesting because the connection for me is so obvious, and I'm sure not everyone has walked or has lived there. So plasma in itself, I think you have in many different regions and many different dimensions. So I think the best thing to do is like just ask your higher self, prepare your body in the way you know it, and then ask if you really want to work with the plasma, what plasma would assist you in your process now, that so that you receive new codes or new visions, or you can go through something that you're going through in your human experience, or aid your body. We use it a lot for our physical body. For example, if the liver is dealing with a lot, we ask the plasma to support, or like put a cocoon. There's a better word, but to sleep in, or but the connection with that specific blue plasma, I don't know if everyone can just make that. I'm sure yes, but how you do that is like yeah, asking questions, discovering. Yeah, it can be a journey in itself, I think. So
And it feels so exciting.
mhm,
Feels so exciting.
yeah.
Going to. Amazing, Nina. Thank you so much for like, yeah, I mean, these are just glimpses, and these are just glimpses of your beautiful being, which is like a whole universe in itself. Which brings me to a point where I'm asking, like, if anyone feels like checking out your work or feels like, I want to work with her, or I want a painting, or can she, yeah, give me a session? Where can people find you? And are there like specific offerings or artworks or anything else, like a shop that you feel like sharing at this moment in time?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for now, you can find me on Instagram. We are working on the website, and there is a shop opening, and there will be art prints, and you can already contact me on Instagram, or receive, or I will give you my email address for sessions, because I am open. It's not because my website is not there yet that I'm not already doing that. you can order scroll. The whole structure is there. It's just a process of when are we actually ready to to open or like release the website. And but if you want to follow my process, because I like to share also during my painting, sometimes I receive this insights and I share them on my Instagram, which is Daily Channel Wisdom. For now, I think it will stay, but we will also have one for blue plasma healing.
Beautiful. Your Instagram is so, so beautiful. I love it. I really highly recommend to everyone that is like vibing with this to like check out your Instagram, because your daily channeled wisdom is really something beautiful flowing through, and to receive the frequencies like that always lifts my spirit. My
Thank you.
spirit. Okay, Nina, I thank you so much for being here, and yeah, for being open for this. And yeah, I honor you and I honor that. And you know that I love you with all my heart. And yeah, I love the two of you with all my heart. What too?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Janine. It's an honor to have shared this space with you and to feel like I can share these things. It's very precious. And I love you too. So yeah.
Thank you. And thank you to all the beautiful souls that are
Mm.
tuning into this throughout all space and all time. And
Mm.
just trust there's always a way for your unique being to express yourself.
Yeah.
Always, 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 always. Okay. Thank you, Nina.
Yeah.